Welcome back to RV News, the channel where we bring you the latest breaking updates on the Iraqi Dinar, the Vietnamese Dong, and everything related to the global revaluation movement that so many investors have been watching closely for years. If you're holding IQD or VND, today's video is one you absolutely cannot afford to miss. We are talking about major developments that point to a new rate going live this Thursday at exactly 9:17, and what that could mean for you as an investor. We'll explore why this timing matters, who's confirming it, how banks and redemption centers are preparing, and why experts are saying this could be one of the most explosive moments in the history of currency revaluations. So grab your notebook, because we're about to go deep into what could truly be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for life-changing profits. For years, people have debated when the Iraqi dinar would finally revalue. We've heard whispers, rumors, and even official statements from time to time. But now, as we look at the current environment, the alignment of financial reforms, oil revenue strength, international monetary discussions, and digital banking infrastructure all seem to point to a coordinated and precise timing. That is why the mention of Thursday at 9:17 is not just a random guess. Those watching the banking systems closely have noticed that test rates have been flashing behind the scenes, and several banks have already updated their internal software in anticipation of this shift. With Vietnam following a similar trajectory, the stage is set for a double shock. Both IQD and VND holders standing at the edge of explosive profit potential. So why 9:17? Let's break that down. Sources close to the central banking sector suggest that revaluations or rate adjustments are rarely announced midday without coordination. The exact timing often comes down to system rollovers, synchronization with SWIFT or QFS, quantum financial system, protocols, and market activity cycles. A Thursday morning release at 9:17 aligns with banking hours in multiple international hubs, ensuring smooth transactions across Europe, the Middle East, and the United States simultaneously. It's no accident that this time was chosen, and many believe it has been deliberately selected to minimize volatility while maximizing control of liquidity. If you're holding dinar or dong, this is your window to pay attention, because being ready before the system changes could mean the difference between being first in line and being stuck behind a flood of other holders. Another crucial element we need to discuss is how Iraq's economy has evolved to reach this point. It has been steadily building its foreign reserves, increasing oil production, and reducing corruption within its financial systems. Prime Minister Sudani has been vocal about the importance of restoring the true value of the Iraqi currency, both to the people of Iraq and to the world markets. These aren't empty promises anymore. The country has completed digital banking upgrades, partnered with international institutions to modernize its currency systems, and cracked down on black market exchanges that were undermining official rates. With the IMF and World Bank keeping a close eye, it's clear Iraq is positioning itself to shock the world by finally letting the dinar rise to a realistic and powerful value. This Thursday's potential revaluation aligns perfectly with these developments. Vietnam, on the other hand, has been quietly strengthening its economy under the radar, often overshadowed by the Iraqi dinar in RV discussions. The Vietnamese Dong is also set to surprise investors. Vietnam has become one of the fastest growing manufacturing hubs in Asia, drawing in billions of dollars in foreign direct investment. They are building stronger trade relations with the United States, Europe, and neighboring Asian economies. The shift away from dependency on China for global supply chains has only boosted Vietnam's profile. Analysts have long argued that the dong has been undervalued for years, kept artificially low to maintain export advantages. But with pressure from international trade agreements and economic reforms, it is now expected that Vietnam will allow a much fairer reflection of its true currency strength. Pair that with the global trend of digital financial resets, and you have the perfect storm for a revaluation. Now let's talk about the investor side. That's you, the IQD and VND holders. For many of you, this journey has been long and filled with doubts, frustrations, and countless nights wondering if you made the right decision. Some bought their dinar or dong years ago, storing it in safes or safety deposit boxes, patiently waiting for this exact moment. The mention of Thursday at 9:17 has electrified the community because it feels more concrete than vague, soon statements we've heard in the past. This is a precise day and time. That kind of specificity often signals insider knowledge and operational planning rather than speculation. If you've held on this long, you are positioned to benefit from one of the most talked about financial resets in modern history. Of course, preparation is everything. You don't want to be scrambling at the last minute. Redemption centers and banks are reportedly setting schedules for appointments, and those who are informed and ready will be ahead of the curve. It's important to have your documentation in order, know the serial numbers of your currency, and understand the potential exchange procedures. Some reports suggest that different contract rates may be offered, depending on the size of your holdings and your willingness to commit funds to structured payouts or projects. This means that not only could you exchange your dinar or dong for immediate cash, but you may also have opportunities to lock in higher rates if you agree to longer-term arrangements. This Thursday could be when those offers officially open. Another thing to consider is how life-changing this event could be, and why discipline will matter more than ever. When new rates go live, the sudden wealth can be overwhelming. We've seen stories of lottery winners who lose everything within years because they weren't prepared mentally or financially for that kind of transformation. If you're about to see millions or even tens of millions appear in your account, you must have a plan. Financial advisors, wealth managers, and tax professionals will become part of your team, whether you like it or not. The difference between those who thrive and those who falter after a revaluation will come down to preparation, mindset, and smart decision-making. That's why here at RV News, we emphasize not only the excitement of the revaluation, but also the responsibility that comes with it. Now, what makes this Thursday different from all the other dates we've heard in the past? One key factor is the level of readiness within the banking sector. Over the past few weeks, there have been credible reports of banks training staff specifically for currency exchanges involving IQD and VND. Test rates have been spotted on internal screens, showing values far higher than the current official rates. Even though these numbers flash briefly and disappear, they signal that the infrastructure is being put in place. Banks don't run these tests for fun. They do it to make sure their systems are ready for a major change. Combine that with chatter from inside redemption centers, where employees have allegedly been instructed to prepare for customer flows on Thursday morning, and you have a much stronger case than ever before. There's also geopolitical context here. Iraq has been under pressure to stabilize its currency and prove itself as a reliable partner in the global economy. With oil prices strong and reconstruction projects gaining momentum, it has the perfect foundation to launch a stronger currency. Vietnam, too, has been urged by international partners to stop suppressing its currency and allow it to reflect its growing economic might. Both nations making moves in the same window of time would send shockwaves through the global financial community. It would also align with broader discussions about shifting the world away from debt-based systems and towards asset-backed currencies. For holders of IQD and VND, this isn't just about a payday. It's about being part of a monumental transition in how global finance operates. As Thursday approaches, excitement is reaching a fever pitch. Telegram groups, forums, and private investor circles are buzzing with anticipation. Some people are making last-minute bank preparations. Others are double-checking the authenticity of their notes. And still others are mapping out exactly how they'll handle the first 24 hours post-RV. The sense of urgency is palpable. Remember, if the new rate goes live at 9:17, it may not be publicly announced right away. It could appear internally within the banking system first, allowing those who are prepared and connected to move quickly. Eventually, of course, the news will go mainstream, but by then the initial frenzy may have already begun. That's why being ahead of the curve matters so much. Think about the ripple effects this could create. If the dinar revalues significantly, Iraq could become one of the wealthiest nations in terms of currency strength, attracting global investors and strengthening its geopolitical influence. Vietnam would also see a surge in foreign interest, driving further growth and elevating its status in Asia. For everyday investors like you, this means life-changing profits that could fund businesses, pay off debts, support charitable causes, or simply provide generational wealth for your family. This is why people call it the RV dream, because it's about more than Jai.